Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about why I love astrology. And someone made a comment some time ago and said, you really love astrology, don't you? But now, I guess I'm going to finally answer that question to those of you that are very inquisitive and would like to know about it. Maybe most of you don't really care, but for the few of you that do, here it goes. Well, some reasons I am enamored with astrology, I think, has to do with the many nuances and facets of it. You have so many different things, proponents connected with it. You have individual natal charts, which is comprised of the sun, moon, ascendant, and you have all these other planets that are with it. You have some asteroids that have significance. It seems like you have so many, it's just so complex. And astrology, a natal chart itself is like an intricate piece of machinery with so many different parts to it. And I think it's just the depth of the subject is what makes it so enticing to me. It's just something where you can never really learn everything or master it completely. Even the most experienced, renowned astrologers are not, will never, I don't believe, will learn everything that is connected with it, because you have different opinions and such a wide, not just the opinions that are associated with things that we already, subjects that are popular with astrology, but they're just new subjects that just keep seeming to come up. And I think it's really infinite, the amount of subject matter that is associated with this subject. Astrology, even though it's perceived as a pseudoscience and it's not technically considered a science, there's something with it that is just very scientific, and there's things that really that are just so accurate too, that it's just unbelievable. And once most people really, they just know astrology on the superficial level. They'll just say, oh, they'll go to their daily horoscope and say, oh, this fits or this doesn't fit. But when you find out that there's just so many other aspects and elements to it, that it just so many other things associated with a multitude of things, that's what makes it so amazing. And I had spoken with one person one day, and she had been just looking at her horoscope and I guess online or whatever, her sun sign, and I said to her, you know that there's other components associated with astrology, and she's kind of seemed quizzical, like what? And I explained to her the vast things that are associated with the subject, and she was like, wow, I didn't even realize that. So really, it comes down to just learning more than just the sun sign, and it becomes such a fascinating world and experience with this. I started as many of you know, I started my YouTube video astrology channel on September 26, 2012. Interestingly enough, transiting Sun conjoined my natal Uranus, and Uranus is associated with esoteric subjects in astrology, computers, electronics, so you get the idea. It just seems too coincidental to dismiss that it was started right on that day where the transiting Sun was a fairly tight conjunction with my natal Uranus. So I thought that was very interesting the way that worked out. You find out that it's not just about a natal chart. There's things with transits, progressions, and it just really, what you can learn is boundless. And even on subjects that are already been discussed, you still get varying viewpoints on it. The divergence of opinions is what makes this very interesting and fascinating as well. Recently, on a Facebook astrology page, I thought it was interesting what someone brought up, that a person said there was a debate between whether a person exhibits their sun sign characteristics more or the moon sign. And I think what's interesting, like with that, for example, is that you can get so many different opinions on that. And really, that's something where I think in that particular subject a lot depends on the house placement of the sun and the moon. And I think also the strength of the sun and moon by sign obviously can play a role as well. But really, this is just something where you have so many different different subjects within the subject. I mean, some people believe in Vedic astrology, some Western. I think Western is more accurate, as many of you know from my previous videos. I mean, that's what my astrology channel is based on, Western astrology. Now, I don't debunk Vedic astrology completely. Maybe some of their delineations for certain things may have some accuracy to it. I just don't like the way they draw up a chart with the house placements, and that's pretty much really. I don't think I exhibit any Aries rising really traits or characteristics, as opposed to my Western ascendant, which is Taurus. So really, and that's really the mainly why I think that what makes this such a fascinating subject, and what compels me to keep producing videos and to keep my interest alive in astrology. And also the people that I've met online, maybe nobody in person, but I have through correspondence on the internet conversed with a number of people, and we've shared our ideas and perspectives on the subject. It just really, to me, and also just the ability to help others too, and get to know their chart a little bit better and know about themselves in the process. And so it takes them from just the superficial fundamental knowledge of just knowing their sun sign into greater depths and really understanding the nature of their chart completely and the complexities that are associated with it. So I think once people can kind of see their chart and they understand their chart, they can see the transits connected with it. They see progressions. Somebody, say with Gemini, say somebody had Gemini rising at 15 degrees, by progression the ascendant is going to move approximately 1 degree per year. So at age 15 roughly, the person may become more interested in matters pertaining to the home and family, and a little bit more emotional, because the progressed ascendant would go into Cancer around that time, the zodiac sign Cancer. So I mean, astrology, best of my knowledge, in some cases has been used to help solve some murder mysteries, I believe. There are just so many nuances and branches with this. It just really, it goes on, and I'll never conquer everything in connection with astrology. There are just so many branches and so many different things that are associated with this. It's not even funny. And talking to people, I can remember in my early years of knowing this, I had a prominent family member that she would watch, like we would watch movies and just television shows, advertisements, and she would guess people's ascendants like this. I mean, she was just like Quicksilver. And one time we were watching something on TV, and they were advertising a John Travolta movie, and we were talking about him having his sun sign in Aquarius. And she looked and responded like almost instantaneously. She said Cancer ascendant. She became very animated when she said this, and you tell like she really believed she was correct. And sure enough, she was. John Travolta, as far as his Western chart anyway, does indeed have Cancer rising. So, and I just thought it was very interesting. One time we were talking about Nolan Ryan, as many of you know. He's venerable MLB or Major League Baseball pitcher, retired, holds the record for career strikeouts. And I said to her, well, the same woman, I said, what do you think his moon sign is? I knew his moon sign, but I wanted to see if she would guess it. And she thought about it. She's very contemplative, and then she paused a little bit and she said, well, Gemini, and sure enough she was right. So I mean, for me to dismiss astrology is something where it's not accurate. I think there's too many things to indicate it really is. The person that was guessing these rising signs and on occasion someone's moon sign, I mean, the person was either psychic or she was knowledgeable about astrology. And I think it was the latter. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment as to why I love astrology, and stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about continuing my series on the signs on the house cusps in the natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.